is tall Georgia pines, stewing battle in the North Georgia mountains and the rolling hills of the Piedmont. It's the top 14 from the 5 biggest john boat clubs in Georgia. It's taken the anglers a year to earn the right to be here. It may not be the big 70-mile-per-hour bass boats the pros use, but it is highly modified fishing rigs set up to handle these electric-only lakes. The game is the same as the pros play, and you're going to have to be on top of your game come March 16th, 2019, if you want to earn the right to be the TEC champion. Proudly sponsored by G2 Gemini Jerseys, Rejuvenate, Power Pole, Nichols Lures, Dixie Athens Painting and Pressure Washing, Southern Draw Outdoors, East Penn, MyGeorgia811.com, Line Tanning Serum, The Dugout Bait and Tackle, Illusion Custom Crankbaits, TH Marine, Lanier Baits, Samkina Bait Company, Hammond's Fishing Center, Now let me introduce you to some of the qualifying anglers.
So start off first by telling me your name, who you fish with.
Tim Wyatt, Electric Bass Opens.
And your partner is?
My partner is Aaron Cole, and he's a little camera shy.
It's all good, it's all good. So tell me about how did you, and even Aaron if you want to answer for him, how did you first get into bass fishing?
I've been doing it pretty much my entire life. My dad got me started early. I actually joined my first bass club on Lake Lanier when I was 16.
So, and I know an interesting fact too, you still hold the record for trout?
Still hold a lake record for brown trout, absolutely.
What did it weigh?
6 pounds.
6 pound brown trout.
And it was delicious.
So, tell me about, as far as tournament fishing you've done on electric only side of things, like if you can remember like how many classes you've been involved in from each club, stuff like that.
Got started probably in 2009 with SWAT. Mike Strickland got me started, and we fished the very first tournament. We won it, got big fish, and been doing it ever since. And as far as I can remember, I've been in a classic every year since 2009.
So obviously you saying you used to fish Lanier, so you've been in big bass boat lakes and stuff like that and familiar fishing with that as well.
Yeah, I owned one for 11 or 12 years, and gas prices hit $4 a gallon, and I quit going. So and we got into this.
So that's kind of the next question is, and then as far as that's how you got into fishing these small lakes, just because of the cost of gas money and everything else.
Gas got ridiculous. By the time you buy gas, oil, drive 50, 100 miles to the lakes, it was just getting ridiculous. And then, like I say, all these new lakes that were opening up was the fishing's more fun. I mean, it's you never know what you're going to catch. You're catching the size of fish you're catching versus big lakes. It's just, I don't know. And I've always been since I got my start on private ponds, I'm a largemouth fisherman, and it's just not a whole lot of largemouth left in Lanier and Altoona to go just specifically target with all the spots taken over.
And Aaron's the same way. He's fished big lakes all of his life growing up.
Pretty much all his life.
So how many years, I didn't catch this, but how many years have y'all been fishing small lakes?
I've been fishing since 2009.
What's the main difference in fishing an electric only versus out of like a big bass boat?
6 versus 7. That's the only way to put it. 6 versus 7. You're going 6 miles an hour versus 70 miles an hour.
Yep.
The amount of water you can cover, it's night and day different. Just because of you get tired of one spot, you can leave and take off and be 6 miles down the lake at a different spot, you know, on a big lake versus out here, you decide to go up a creek arm and start, that's pretty much where you're going to either have to stay or you're going to be limping back at the end of the day.
So y'all's season with Electric Bass Opens, what was a turning point for y'all from last year in the season?
We actually struggled this year. It was not a great season at all. I'd say that the turning point, there wasn't really a turning point. We had lakes that we normally do good on, we sucked. I mean, we had a horrible tournament at Latham. I think we got last or almost last, dead last. One tournament he couldn't fish and I got a sub on Latham and I think we finished 8th or 9th. And then, but at Hickory Log, we finished 3rd and 1st, you know, here. And then, like I say, we won the Classic here too. So it's, yeah, that and Rocky Mountain. We both usually always do really good at Rocky Mountain. Fish wasn't biting what we thought they should be biting. We limped in with a 12-inch or a 14-inch fish, and that was the only fish we had. That saved our season because, you know, in our club, if you zero, you're out of it. You're not making top 6 or 10 or anything. So
what would you say is your most memorable fish from 2018?
14-inch, 1.14 ounce.
At Rocky.
Largemouth at Rocky, yeah. If I had that fish here, I'd probably still kiss it. I mean, it's, that fish saved us big time.
That's kind of neat to hear. I mean, everybody else has been talking about an 8-pounder, 9-pounder.
Yeah.
The 1-pounder made a difference.
Yeah, that fish basically got us where we're at because without that fish, we'd have zeroed and our season would have been in the tubes.
And that's something to definitely help out for, you know, newcomers in the club. 1-pound fish, it can make a difference.
1-pound fish, don't zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you need to put a fish in a boat and you're struggling, what is your go-to bait?
If it's struggling and it's tough and grinding, I'd have to say a drop shot.
Yeah. Then aside from that, if you know that you got your limit of fish and you need that one kicker fish, what's going to be your go-to bait for that one kicker?
I'm going to throw an A-rig till my arm falls. Or a flutter spoon.
Yeah. Have you checked out Hard Labor yet?
We've been down there one time.
What do you think about it?
I do not like it. It's too big, and I don't like the watercolor. Hopefully, once the vegetation decays and rots and washes away or something, it'll change. But
it's probably gonna wind up getting a bunch of grass in it.
It'll
once
probably
all that.
end up getting a lot of grass, and then I'll probably like it even less. But yeah, it's big. We've only been up 2 arms of it. Haven't seen the 3rd one, and but I don't know. It's got a little bit of everything. Like, you know, there's a lot of different stuff for people to fish, but it's going to be, for us up here that don't get to see it very often, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
For people that's fished it last year when it opened, they're going to definitely have an advantage on teams that, you know, that don't see it.
So you've been watching the Facebooks and Hooked Up Lives and everybody talking with everything. What's your predictions as far as like winning weights for the state championship?
17.92.
Oh, you got it exact.
Yeah, 17.92.
I got you. So besides yourself and Aaron, what's another team to watch out for in electric bass?
It's tough to say. I'd say all of them. Randy and Geiger, if it's a grind, they will pick them apart. Josh and Brandon, they're good, and like I say, Adam and Alex. I mean, you can't. They're new to me because I've not been around them before. But any team that's qualified, that double qualified for the state championship, and they finished in the top 4 in our club, they obviously know what they're doing.
So tell me about y'all's boat setup.
Well, this is Aaron's. I'm not really familiar with what he's running, but but mine's a 1751 Polar Craft that we built out. It's I got a 109 on the front and two 105s on the back. I'm running 10 batteries, so I'm heavy, and that's probably what I'll be fishing in the state championship in. But yeah, it's
What kind of batteries you running out of it?
MK gels. Like I say, we're running 10 of them. They're heavy.
So you've recently finished that boat in the past couple of years of yours you're fishing out of?
Probably 2000. I don't know. 10,
If you-
11, 12.
Is there something with you finishing out of that boat? Is there something that you would want to do to improve it, make it better, fish better out of it? What would you like to do?
Bigger motor on the back. I'd like to have spot lock, but I'm not gonna put up with the loud noises that it makes constantly and the high price tag versus. I'm not replacing the motor that works perfectly fine for a motor that's going to work perfectly fine and hold me in my spot.
Right. Would you want to go with a bigger boat, or size is pretty much right on the money what you like? Or
If I ever build another one, I'm building one out of a boat just like this. I'm building one out of an 1860 Fisher.
yeah,
I'm gonna definitely. Bigger's always better. I don't care what anybody says. A bigger boat's always better. You can't go wrong with big.
awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking time.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Proudly sponsored by G2 Gemini Jerseys, Rejuvenate, Power Pole, Nichols Lures, Dixie Athens Painting and Pressure Washing, Southern Draw Outdoors, East Penn, MyGeorgia811.com, Line Tanning Serum, The Dugout Bait and Tackle, Illusion Custom Crankbaits, TH Marine, Lanier Baits, Samkina Bait Company, Hammond's Fishing Center,